So, any questions and stuff?
Could each of the candidates please give a brief summary of their platform?
Okay, so I guess I'll start off. So my platform mainly builds around my experience in the Senate as a two-term senator and president pro tem of the Senate this year, and works to increase expansion, accountability, and leadership to streamline the Senate, and as well as increase the overall convention experience. And I bring that as taking from everything I've seen over the past 2 years and seeing the different ways that the Senate has operated, and more of a loose ways shifting over to very set and defined with, has been brought up many times, a 76-page bylaw full of legal jargon. And that really has slowed down the Senate. It's gotten a lot of people disinterested. Plenty of the senators this year ran off a platform of transparency and involvement, but we need to actually act on it this time. People aren't going to get involved in the Senate and actually care about what we're doing if they don't understand firsthand what we're actually passing. So I look to make sure that all the senators are accountable, to work with their regions as the leader of the Senate, to make sure that I foster the leadership not only in myself but in others. So it's bringing my experiences and passing them down to everyone to make sure that the conventions work better, they're more streamlined, and to make sure the cabinet runs smoother.
I'm grant creator from this school, John Burroughs. Like I said at the SCR one day, there are 3 words that have been tossed around within JSA that have completely lost their meaning over the past couple of years in elections. And those 3 words are transparency, expansion, and leadership. Transparency. People have said they're going to make a Senate Facebook page. As of right now, there is a Senate Facebook group for the people in the Senate. That's all of this, everybody that's in the group. Seems like something that takes 2 minutes to make, still hasn't gotten done. That's a sign that people haven't taken their job seriously when they're in the Senate. In terms of transparency, see that right back there? Live stream? Every Senate meeting will be live streamed, and I'll send out the link to chapter presidents and to anyone willing to watch who's a member of JSA. Now, expansion. As LTG, it's not really something that we have control over. That's the job of the Department of Expansion. But you can pass legislation which would incentivize chapter creation or growth. I plan to do that, and if one of you wants to ask me a question about that, I'd be happy to go into detail. And leadership. The Senate had a chance to hold a quorum in 5 meetings this year. We held a quorum for a total of 3 meetings. That's pathetic, if you ask me. If you're playing baseball and you get a hit 3 out of 5 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. But in the Senate, that doesn't cut it. So I will improve leadership, transparency, and expansion this time for real. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Monica Bear, and I'm speaking on behalf of Valerie Edwards. She's running for LTG. She's unable to speak with us today because she has a previous speaking engagement at a JSA fundraiser. So the 3 main points on her platform highlight expansion, chapter interaction, and representation. Her first goal of expansion is to subdivide each state expansion department by region. In doing so, communication with the state will be more effective, convenient interaction, and communication between chapter coordinators and expansion coordinators will further the goal of yielding a more successful state. Her second part is chapter integration. So, as Grant mentioned earlier, transparency, her plan is to increase transparency. She plans on doing this by allotting one debate block at each convention to allow chapter presidents to meet with their respective chapter coordinators and expansion agents. Also present at this block would be Governor and LTG, so they can really all work together to become one integrated group of people that are really approachable and people can realize that they are there to help them. So, and also she'd like to maintain involvement. She plans on promoting interest and thought-provoking meetings by constructing a list of debate and thought talk topics that will be sent as a resource to every chapter president each month to promote and improve chapter interaction and involvement. Her last goal is representation. To ensure that each member of JSA is heard by opening lines of communication between cabinet and JSA chapters and the members, Valerie will accomplish this by publishing a list of cabinet contact information along with their respective cabinet position definitions. Better communication equals happier people, which equals better conventions. Because JSA is made up by us, the students, the rest of her platform is up to your suggestions. Valerie Edwards wants to represent you, the member of JSA, in any and every way she can to ensure your voice is heard. Please approach her, email her, or Facebook her with any suggestions you'd like added to her platform or any changes you'd like to see next year in our JSA. Thank you.
Any more questions? Brian looks.
This question is it for Monica in proxy of Valerie? 2 points that were mentioned were the subdivision of expansion by region and the creation of a database of sorts. How would these two systems be modified to be made unique as opposed to the identical systems that were in place last year, or that no longer exist for certain reasons?
Okay, well, I think she plans. Can you repeat the question?
Considering that at both the subdivision of expansion by region and the existence of a debate database were in place last year and are no longer in place, how would Valerie make these systems unique? How would she tweak them in order to make them more effective?
So I think with her goal, what she's trying to come across for expansion is that she's trying to say that she wants to streamline communication between the region and the state level for expansion. Because right now, I feel like regional expansion is almost more effective because once you have that personal connection with members in your local community at local high schools who don't have chapters, it's that personal connection that really gets them involved in that. And I feel like she wants to take that personal connection and streamline it all the way through state cabinet by breaking this down to a regional basis. And for the resource of debate topics.
Do you want me, because it was like, she talked to me about it, do you want me to explain it?
Yeah.
Her idea was to start a new position, the Director of Chapter Interaction, who would be responsible for emailing a list of debate topics, thought talk topics, and activities you could do like chapter to chapter, and that person would just be responsible for emailing it out to every chapter president every week, and just making sure that people realize that in your school, not at JSA conventions, you can do things like have thought talks, debates at lunch, and they would provide a list of ideas and like stuff you could do to grow stronger as a chapter to ensure that people don't just lose interest in JSA.
Okay. Questions, anyone? Anthony?
For the candidates, what would you say is your greatest weakness?
Greatest weakness. Would you like to go, Grant?
Honestly, oh, okay, I'll tell you what my biggest regret. My biggest regret is not doing JSA my freshman year. I started my sophomore year, my junior year, and I immediately fell in love with it. I ran for Senate as a junior and had the same idea with live stream. So I think that probably my biggest weakness is, or was, the inability to not know about JSA, or the ability to not know about JSA when I was a freshman. Yeah? Okay.
Okay, so going the direction that Grant took it.
What direction is going to take this? This seems very...
Yeah, I understand. Probably have to be along the lines of not pushing some of the other senators this year to really get more involved, because Grant did bring it up. There was only a quorum at 3 of the 5 meetings that we had. And while I was able to make it at every meeting, I feel that there wasn't enough being done to make sure that each senator was able to get there. So I think not being able to bring what I have on my platform now to make sure that all the senators are there, I wish it would have been done earlier so that we wouldn't have the problems that we have today. Because why solve today what you could have solved yesterday?
You want to talk about Valerie's weaknesses?
So I feel like this question should be directed at Valerie. If you have any questions, you can contact her via email or check out her Facebook page and send her a message or post it on her Facebook wall. I'm sure she'll be happy to talk to you.
Want me to ask her what she would say? I'm texting her right now.
Yeah, do that. Time, but don't table the question. You have like 2 minutes.
Yeah, Ray check.
Any more questions?
So appropriate.
Did you get
Questions? Okay.
What does beauty mean to you?
Anthony McElroy. That's what beauty means to me.
Oh.
All of you all mean beauty to me. Every single one of you.
Thank you.
JSA means beauty to me. It is, but I'm not going to be cliche.
You can say that.
Monica, you can always say, I mean beauty to you. That's still open.
Just kidding. You're beautiful every single way.
You could say Valerie means beautiful to you, and you wouldn't be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Conceited.
Conceited. You wouldn't be being conceited.
Beauty to me is definitely the fact that we can take JSAers from all over California and all over the nation and bring them all into one room and have us not kill each other, even though we have different political views. I think that's definitely a beautiful thing, that we can all come together and respectfully speak about issues that we really care about and we really are passionate about. And I think that's absolutely beautiful that nobody's died.
I'm happy nobody took the actual route.
Just a point. Hey, is this going to be how the Santiago debates are going to be like? Just so I can.
I'm not sure Zishan is handling that.
Prepare myself for this.
Any more questions about JSA
And not
and like the positions there?
Anything on the live stream?
Nothing. They admire your political spinning of all your questions.
You should.
Yeah,
You have,
Stage work.
it does.
Oh, no, I just have a
Okay.
question. What experience do you guys have that makes you fit to be lieutenant governor?
Okay, perfect. Well, the chief responsibility of the lieutenant governor is to lead the Senate, and what better experience leading the Senate do you have than being involved in the Senate? I've been in the Senate for 2 years now. I got elected as a freshman, served all of sophomore year, and I served my second term this year, and worked as a president pro tem of the Senate with Tucker in trying to really implement some of the things that all the senators had. Not only that, I've had various amounts of leadership experience across the board. I'm the co-director of a homeless soup kitchen that at my school that served over 20,000 meals to homeless people in the park, and we've gotten our JSA chapter involved in that as well as other schools, and we've spoken with our city council, so I know how to bridge the gap between JSA and the real world, and I know what it takes to get people involved. So bringing that into the Senate, as well as my previous experience in the Senate and my love of JSA, I think is qualification enough to show that I have what it takes in order to get things done in the Senate next year.
Well, I actually hold one of the only positions in the office of the Senate that is not elected. I applied through cabinet, and I'm currently the Angeles Region Director of Constituent Services for the Senate, which is basically someone who goes out, talks to the average member, the chapter president, and sees what they think about what's going on in the Senate and what they want to effectively changed. Now, I haven't been in the Senate as long as Liam, but you don't have to be in the Senate a long time to see what's wrong with the Senate and what needs to be changed. First of all, this year, there was one piece of legislation passed, and it wasn't even written by a senator. It was proposed by the lieutenant governor. Well, on a chapter level, in terms of experience, well, this is the second mini-con we've hosted this year. We've brought in a Congressman Adam Schiff. We brought in several guest speakers, LA City Councilman Gary Brick, LA County Supervisor Mike Antonovich, Burbank City Council. We've hosted a book drive. We've raised over $700 for Camp Ronald McDonald. So I know what it's like to go from a small chapter. We had an average of 40 members per year, and as of right now, we have 110 members. We are a public school, so this is not easy. We don't have money flowing in like a lot of private schools do. So I know what it takes to go from a small chapter to a large chapter, and I know what needs to be done through legislation to help small chapters achieve that success. Through the legislation I was hoping somebody would ask about. But basically, I want to pass legislation that would incentivize chapter growth. An example would be if a certain chapter had an increase of membership for a year, basically like, let's just throw out a number, 50, if they increased 50 members from one year to the next, they would receive a scholarship to attend Spring State. If a certain school were to bring in 3 schools from their area, were to bring in a certain number of schools from their area, they would also achieve, or they would also get a scholarship to Spring State. And so through legislation, we can effectively change expansion, and that's what I hope to do as Lieutenant Governor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Valerie Edwards has arrived.
Hello, I'm Valerie Edwards. I'd just like to apologize. I was speaking at a JSA fundraiser at the Board of Trustees house for JSA, but I have arrived and I am prepared to answer any questions you may have about my platform, so thank you.
The question right now is, what experience do you have that makes you fit to be Lieutenant Governor?
Okay, sorry, I'm a little bit frazzled. I was running. Let me sit down. Okay, so first of all, currently I am the Director of Expansion for the state. I also have worked in the fundraising department, and I am my chapter president, and I think that I bring the passion and the knowledge and the enthusiasm necessary to lead the Senate in a positive direction. So.
Yeah, we don't have time, so Governor, you guys, I'm sorry you came like just enough.
Sorry.
Thank you.